Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record. Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan and the host, of course, of On the Record and all these new wonderful series. We are officially debuting, premiering Dating in America. And I am so excited to have these two beautiful friends, besties since kindergarten, premiering the show. Ariana
Barilla.
I wanted to make sure I pronounced her right.
That's
I was going to attempt it. And Marina DeCandia, right?
Yeah.
Didn't I do a good job?
That was great.
Oh, thank you. So thank you both for coming on. All right, so two Jersey girls
Two Jersey girls.
that now live in Florida, who are both going to be 30 this month.
Excuse me.
February.
I'm still in my 20s.
Oh, February. That's
Yes,
right.
not yet.
Are we still in January? I'm sorry. But guys, listen, there is something, people always talk about age. Listen, I feel with the decades, I'm not going to reveal which decade I'm in, but, actually, it's really kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say about that, because usually stuff that happens with me is off the record. But we are on the record with the two of you. So, all right, tell us a little bit about yourselves. You're both single, right?
Yes. So I just moved down to the area about a year ago. I was living in New York City the past 6 years. I'm a lingerie designer and just like total fashion girl, love all things fashion. And I've kind of like done the whole dating thing in New York, because I'm here. So just kind of, hanging out.
Okay, so before you move on, guys, don't get too excited when she said, yes, you heard correctly. She is a lingerie designer. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Marina, okay, tell us about you.
Okay. I am a bartender. Been a bartender for going on 13 years now.
So you're also a therapist.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I would like to say licensed at this point. I have a lot of people in South Tampa area know me. I've bartended at almost every bar in town, and I love it. It's a great gig. Work 3 days a week, make a living. It's fantastic. Couldn't ask for more.
Well, what about your love life?
My love life?
Yes,
Wow.
like what's going on in your love life
So when
right
it says looking for love, I'm not sure we're right there yet, but I just broke off my engagement, but for good reasons, because we just were not on the same page for a lot of things, and it's better to know early before you commit to a marriage with somebody that it's just kind of not there. But yeah. So I guess I'll be looking for love by my 30th birthday, maybe.
In February. But you know what? I'm glad that, firstly, in a serious note, because to end a relationship can be very painful. Are you okay?
I am okay. It was totally my decision. Oops, I just tapped the mic. But it's just, we were on different pages. I mean, and it's not that he's a bad person. It was just, for me, I was kind of feeling like I was doing 90% of things and maybe not getting that in return, and kind of having to be more of like a mother figure than a wife, and that really just made me have to say, this is just not where I want to be in life. It's not working out.
I really commend you for making that decision, and especially with what you said before, when you said that marriage is a very serious thing. I don't think, and divorce can be very difficult, believe me.
And we were looking at houses, and I mean, it's just very serious. So.
And no one walks into a marriage saying, oh, okay, well, maybe down the line I'm going to get a divorce.
Right.
Really, everybody has the intention
of
making it work.
Yeah.
So to have that maturity and that foresight, as painful as it was, again, I really commend you for that. And I do want to talk to you about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Ariana, though, you guys have been best friends, you said, since kindergarten.
Yes.
So the love the two of you have are like
love,
sisters.
hate. What?
Right. You really remind me. So, Sammy, my daughter Sammy is 14 years old, and she's in those teen years, yes. But her best friends, in fact, we're all going out to dinner tonight.
Yeah.
But I've known these little girls since they were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So you see them grow up. So the parents also have an immense love.
Yeah.
So to see your friend. How did you feel when she first started dating her now ex-fiance? Did you have a gut feeling about him?
I hung out with him like minimally, but he always was like really nice, could tell he was super into her. So I didn't really think anything was wrong, but I think sometimes like during the course of a relationship, people can change, then like the kind of like day-to-day habits come out. So I think maybe they just kind of like realized they weren't really at the same page, you know, and like she doesn't need to settle. So like, you know, if she's not being like treated or it's not 50-50, it's like, what's the point, you know?
Let's focus on that S word, settle.
Right.
Do you feel that a lot of people, maybe around your age, because I remember too, like, I know you're, okay, all right, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Tell us why.
Well, for me, I think when you're in it, it's hard to see, like, hindsight's 20/20, but when you're in the relationship, it's very hard to see, like, I lost myself completely. I was stressed out, I was not happy. I mean, and this is towards the last, like, 6-8 months. So when you're in it, you're trying to make reasons why you feel that way. Maybe I'm tired, maybe I'm just not myself anymore, I don't know. So when you get out of it, I mean, I was definitely sad for a little bit, but then it became the happiest I've ever been again. So it's kind of one of those things where a burden is lifted off of you and you go, wow, I actually do remember how to be myself and be happy. But in the moment, you're settling and you're like, well, it's okay, it's fine, right? This is normal, I'm engaged, life's great. So I think a lot of people in our age group, and I think at any age, I think people settle because they want companionship more than they're comfortable with being alone. So
I mean, I do agree with that, but I do want to talk about your age group a little bit, and you mentioned many things, Marina, that I want to go back to. I feel that there is added pressure, though, when you are in your 20s, because, I mean, I remember, you know, when I was that age, friend after friend was dating, then getting married, and then it's the whole, like, when are you going to have a baby situation. So would you say there is added pressure in your age bracket right now to find a relationship?
I think so, and I think a lot of it is just like, you know, friends of friends, maybe for some people family, society, just like general. But I feel like especially just times are changing and some people are just finding the person they really want to be with later on or putting career first or just like personal development, stuff like that. So I think there is pressure, but I think, you know, only kind of if you succumb to it and feel like you just need to make the decision rather than like being super happy with your decision.
You know, this is really interesting because when I was your age, I feel that there was more pressure. And I didn't get married until my 30s anyway. But I do see times changing. I do see more and more women putting their career or whatever, you know, whatever they want to do first before settling down. So honestly, that's refreshing to hear that from your perspective. So Marina, let me ask you, did you live with your fiance?
yes.
So how long were you guys together?
We actually were not together that long. I would say a year and a half, maybe a little more than that. And he proposed within, what, 7-8 months?
Wow.
Yeah, maybe like 7 months.
And I mean, I was getting close to 30, so it was definitely pressure. I was like, this is what I need and want. Like, hello, I need to get married and get a family started. And like, I thought that that's the way you had to go. And then I took a step back and I was like, this is what I want. It didn't change, but is it the right person? I think I settled on that a little bit just because I ignored some things and kind of, like I said, let things slide and sat there and trying to make a square fit into a circle.
Yeah.
So,
did you feel like when you moved in with him, do you feel more and more people, especially at your age, more and more people are living together as well?
I think that's more important than just jumping into a marriage or a relationship. I think when you live with somebody, you really get to see exactly what's going on. But it's up to you if you're going to say, is that red flag brown? Am I colorblind? Like, so you have, like, I would be like, the house is a mess. And then I was like, it's fine, I'll clean it. Like, over and over, you have to make that decision. But you will know somebody 100% more living with them than just dating. Anyone could be nice to you 3 days a week.
Right, right. But living with them,
eye-opener.
An eye-opener. Have you ever lived with anybody?
I have not. I like would, you know, I definitely think like what Marina said too, it's important to kind of see what someone's like, you know, right in the morning or like working late or like being grumpy and, you know, all different versions of them. I just haven't, you know, I had a serious relationship a few years ago, but we were younger, so it wouldn't have really made sense then. And it ended up being like pretty toxic anyway. But yeah, I totally think, thank you. But yeah, I totally think it makes sense once like both people are, you know, ready and just kind of like, you know, but you know, not for like kind of force or just like, well, it's been this much time, we might as well. Like, I think if it really feels right, you should. And then kind of see like where it takes you.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So I come from a completely different background, right? So I am 100% Indian from India, and I had an arranged marriage. I never got married. I actually chose my career over getting into that arranged marriage. So to have an arranged marriage, oh my gosh, can you imagine like telling your parents, hey, by the way, I'm going to move in with somebody? So that was like, but do you feel parents right now, and again, Sammy's only 14, so I'm not at that point yet. But I remember, again, your age, where parents would be like, oh my God, what are you talking about? You're going to move in with somebody? Do you feel parents nowadays are also more accepting? I mean, did your mom and dad have a heart attack when you said you were going to move in?
No, I think, in a way, my dad's, both of our parents, dads especially, are old school Italian. So they are very, like, my dad still to this day thinks I've dated one man and like I'm an angel, you know what I mean? So I'm like, hate to break it to you, sorry if you're watching, Dad.
I'm Italian by osmosis. I love this. Okay, I love it.
So basically though, I think he definitely, is more like, what do you mean you're moving in with somebody and you're not married? Like, but hi, it has to happen. That's why my parents divorced. So I think that like a lot of parents now are realizing that in this day and age, times are different and things just move in a different progression than they used to. So back then, our parents were 22, having kids, getting married, and the whole shebang. I mean, we're in our 30s, not even thinking about that much yet.
Right. No, absolutely. More and more women are having kids later and later in life. What about your parents? I know you said you have not moved in with anybody, but you both have old school Italian dads.
Yeah, so my dad's very old school. I even don't really like to mention a guy unless I know he's sticking around because the details of, the specifics and all the questions, I'd rather just be very secure and knowing that he's going to stick around and then we can continue to have a discussion. I think he probably would be a little oh, are you sure? But I think he would get it. He's kind of chilled out a little bit over the years. But yeah, I think he would kind of from a logical standpoint get it, not to then, be in this super committed situation and then you have a house or something together and then if it goes south it's just really messy. So yeah, that I think it makes, I feel by now so many people are doing it in our age group once they're in a serious situation that I feel it's not as uncommon anymore.
It was funny because right before the show started, one of my most favorite people, our head of production, Carl Prentice, was in here. And I said, hey, these two cute ones have been, friends since kindergarten. And, he has two boys, amazing boys. That they're older now, too, seeing them grown up. And he said, oh, my gosh, thank goodness I'm not the father of girls. Because I do feel that there can be more pressure. And if you don't mind me asking, this show is unedited, unscripted. So that's why no preparation. Are your parents still married?
They're divorced also.
They're divorced as well.
Yeah.
So do you feel that has that played in at all in the way you guys look at relationships?
100%, because I will never settle at all because I know that I don't want to be in a divorced relationship. I know that, how I hated it growing up, and so, I just don't. It's not that it's traumatizing really at all because I love both of my parents equally, but to know that the suffering that they both had to do, and I think they still think about it, that I don't want, you know what I mean? So now I'm I will not sign any contract unless we are for sure on the same page.
How old were you when your parents got divorced?
Two.
So you were really little.
Yes.
How about you, Ariana?
I was in college, so I was 20, 21.
Oh, so you were older.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and it affects you as well?
Definitely.
Okay, tell me how it affects you.
I think just because since, being older and kind of a young adult, I was probably looped into it more than I should have been. But, and kind of just you have you picture certain situations or things as you get older to go a certain way. And then when your parents split up, it kind of is just a shift, redirect. But I'm definitely happy that they're both happy now. And now when I spend time with each of them, it's super happy. It's not weird tension or fighting. So I think overall it's better now, but definitely going through it,
Was difficult.
kind of being aware of everything, is definitely difficult.
This is really interesting to me because I've had many conversations with people talking about divorce and married couples and staying together. And the perspective is that many children from divorced couples could have a much more successful marriage. And Marina, you mentioned it because they don't want to go through the same thing.
100%.
So I think that's, honestly, that's very refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
You guys are so mature, and
at this old age.
Beautiful. So we are going to go to a break,
Okay.
and when we come back from the break, though,
We're going to party.
we're going to partay. No, we're going to talk about what it's like out there, and I want to address what you said about looking for love, because you're right. That should not have been the heading
She's
of the
like,
show.
hello, it's been 4 weeks. She's looking for love.
We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us.
I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host. With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional or virtual sets, and from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Sarina Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Dating in America. Not just welcome back to Dating in America. Welcome back to the premiere show, the debut, with these two lovely ladies, Ariana and Marina, best friends since kindergarten. It's so great to have you guys both on the show. So it was funny because when Marina walked in, she said, "Looking for love," because that was like the title in the, for the description of the show. And she said, "Looking for love." It's been how many weeks since you?
Like 4.
4 weeks since you haven't been. And so we say that, but I have to say, this conversation has been so eye-opening, and I really appreciate. We've talked about being in your 20s, the perspective of what I had at that age, about coming from divorced families, and thank you for being, so open about everything so far. But let's get to nitty-gritty. And you guys were going to bring me wine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot it.
It's okay, but I'm sure that we can find a time to have a glass together.
I'm sure we can.
So what is, and Marina, I know that you're recently single, but Ariana, you've been out for a while, right? And in a very good place, I would say, right? To find somebody, you've been out of a relationship for a couple of years?
Yeah, it's been a couple years. I kind of, like I mentioned before, took some time just to regroup, and it was kind of like a while where I was just not really trying to be in a relationship, just having fun. I was around 25, kind of just going out in New York, having fun. If I met people, cool, but I wasn't on a mission or anything. Mm-hmm. And I really I'm not I'm on a mission anyway. I would say it's more of an openness. But I'm picky in a good way, where
you should be.
I don't want to be committed to someone that I'm not super into and really enjoy hanging out with. What's the point? So unless I want to hang out with you, talk to you, just do fun stuff, casual stuff, I don't want to be locked into a relationship. You can kind of casually date, see what someone is, but I'm not gonna be okay, now I'm only seeing you until further notice, until I'm bored of you.
Yeah, and sometimes in your heart, you guys got engaged after very few months, 7 months, you said. So Ariana, how has it been dating though? I mean, I get messages all the time. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to date. It's harder to date in Tampa than it is in New York or DC or Boston. Yeah. I'm one of those that always says, if love is there, I don't either.
I think it's where you're looking for these people. Are you out at the bar, or are you dropping apples in the Publix produce section saying, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Okay, that's a better place.
Okay, so let's
go to the car wash.
Oh, okay. Let's
car wash.
Yeah. I'm serious. I did when I worked in traditional.
Men at the car wash.
When I did traditional news, and The Bachelor, debuted. Believe me, here's me, this hardcore journalist, and they said, "Oh gosh, you're going to start covering these stories." At the time, I was like, "Are you kidding? I cover serial killers. I mean, that's I'm sorry, I don't, I can't. I cover presidents. What do you mean I'm going to cover these stories?" But truly, as you can see, I do love.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing my very own series right now. But in my series, it's at sporting events, grocery stores, car washes, coffee shops,
Yeah.
or do something. If you do something that you truly love,
Right.
you're going to attract someone running, or a
A few
sport.
of my girlfriends have met their significant others at their yoga class or something
Right.
like that. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever it is you like to do, but at the bar is the worst place.
Okay,
Because
talk to us
anyone
about
could be
it.
nice after a few drinks.
Talk to us about a therapist, bartender. Okay, tell us, Marina.
First off, anybody that hits on me over the bar, as in customer to bartender, you're out. Okay, you're immediately a walking red flag, and there's no way you can be colorblind for that one because you're just oof.
So there's no brown in that scenario.
No
Got it.
chance. Don't even
Okay.
waste your time.
Right.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, I think a lot of girls go out and they get tipsy and they start to, you kind of start to lessen what you're looking for. You go, oh, well, he's not really my type, but he's so nice. Like, oh, he's cute. And then the more you take shots, the less you go, wait, what? Isn't that weird? He was just out of jail like a month ago. So it's kind of one of those things where you just...
Now, for those that are watching, I have to say, there are couples that I know that met at a bar and
Yeah,
are very, very happily married. It
there-
definitely happens.
It can happen,
But you're saying,
Right.
keep
I would
your
say-
eyes open.
Yeah, if you're gonna meet at a bar, maybe don't have 14 shots and have like 2. Try
But
that.
I feel like it also makes a difference if people are like going out specifically trying to meet someone at a bar, then you're kind of already in that like
Yeah, like the desperation
needy energy. But if you're just like out with your friends and like someone bumps into you or like you drop something, or, you know, just something more natural where you like end up meeting and it's at a bar or something, like going out, it's different than people who like go out like hunting. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. And again, you know, I don't. Usually, my life is always off the record. But I will say, in my life, I have always been one of those girls. Ever since I was, started dating and married and everything, not the type that I had to be with somebody. Like I didn't
Right.
have to have a boyfriend. I didn't have to. And you believe me, any which way is fine. I'm not judging it in any way. Because I had several girlfriends that had to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like as soon as one ended, they needed to be in
Right.
another relationship.
Well, that's like that codependency, and
Yeah.
that's what gets you every time. Like for us, I happen to have had boyfriends, but I never needed one. Wanting one, sure, but needing one, like there are a lot of girlfriends that we have
Right.
that are just bouncing from one to
Yeah.
another, and I'm like, listen, this is why it's not working, because you don't even know what you want. You're just trying to fill a void every single time. So when you're codependent like that, it's just never going to work.
You need to find
Yeah.
like you need to find yourself
Right.
and have that space.
Right.
Ariana, when you mentioned too, if you go to a bar, for instance, and staying on that same topic, and if you're looking for love, that's how I just don't feel like you find it.
Yeah.
It is unexpected. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think it's just also it's just better and more enjoyable for everyone if it's relaxed. It happens, but people can just kind of get a vibe off of each other, and you can kind of tell if someone's like clingy all of a sudden, like next to you, won't leave you
Yeah.
alone. Like you can tell that they like want something from you and they're like desperate rather than just like enjoying themselves, having
Yeah.
fun. If it happens, it does. If not, whatever. Like that's just definitely a better like kind of situation to be in.
The more you love yourself, the more someone is going to love you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the happier you are with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I always feel happy people attract happy people.
Yeah.
Right.
Healthy people attract healthy people. I'm sorry if some psychologists get mad at me out there, but I do plan on having psychologists too on the show. Let me ask you though, Marina, you did go through, you were engaged and I know it was your decision.
Yeah.
But I always tell my girlfriends, I would rather have a broken leg over a broken heart.
Right.
Because with a broken heart, you never know when that heart is going to heal.
Right.
With a leg, the doctor can say, okay, in 6 weeks you're going to be out of your cast, you're going to be running, you're going to do whatever you want. How did you get through your broken heart?
Honestly, it was one of those things where I was just, I don't want to say checked out, but I had been reading this writing on the wall and we have been talking about the same things over and over, and I just was so unhappy, and I'm not like that. I'm not. Yeah. So I'm a very bubbly, outgoing, crazy person, and I was just very like, meh. And I was like, there's something missing here, and all the houses we were looking at, any offers we put in, like nothing was working out, and I was like, the universe here, I think, is not on our side, and I think we have been having the same discussion about what needs to be done in order to succeed, and it's not working. So you're not changing, and I'm not going to mother you completely to death because I can't. So for me, it was kind of one of those things where I just been slowly checking out because things just weren't going in my favor, and I was like, you know what? I have to rip this Band-Aid off. I know it's going to suck, especially more so probably for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, but there is that guilt involved.
I do. I feel horrible, but it had to be done because me feeling bad for you was all I ever did.
So you I'm proud of you. I mean, it's difficult, you know, getting through the toxic relationship. How did you do it?
That was wild. That was a wild.
That was a wild ride. I think, and it was really prolonged for a long time. And I think just, it was a stressful time for me in general because I was still in college, super intense fashion design program. Also, my parents were getting divorced at the same time. So it was like a slow, like just things piling up that I knew it wasn't a good situation. And then I kind of decided and like was kind of figuring out the right time to like part ways. But it just, I think just because he ended up being so like toxic and like really showing like all the cards and like signs like that, it in a way made it a little bit easier to be like, I just don't want anything to do with you. Like you're a really bad influence. But after, I definitely didn't want to be in a relationship just because I was associating it with like, oh, it's so intense and like, all of the negative feelings. But I was kind of, I think just the fact that I was still able to like go out with my friends and then like I would meet guys like kind of naturally and like even if it wasn't an official, like relationship that we then dated for like a year or something after, like there were guys that I still like connected with and would like, see for a few months or like, almost like a year or something like that. And I think kind of like slowly wetting my feet and not like right away looking for a boyfriend just made it like more fun. Like it wasn't a priority. I just wanted to have fun and be like free.
As we wrap up the show, I want to say, yes, love can be hard. Love is difficult. But love is beautiful. And you can always get through something when you have love of friends and being together. Oh, thank you so much, Marina and Ariana, being on here on the debut of Dating in America. And guys, I am setting a trend. I am bringing suits back. What do you think?
Suits are back.
What do you guys think?
Elle Woods for president.
Yes.
Okay, Elle Woods. I love her. Reese Witherspoon on the morning show as well. Yes, I was a morning anchor for years. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. Have a great day and a great week. Love you, girls.
Love you. Thank you.